I guess I always wanted to be a farmer. It's a continual process of being humbled.
Every year it seems like we learn twice as much as what we knew before. Mathematically, that should put us over the top, but we're still novices at this. Before the opportunity to farm, I was really not settled on at all what I was interested in doing. It didn't take more than a year or a season of doing that work to really feel like that was my calling.
I'm just using the cart to roll them back into the barn, and then I'm gonna pack them up into boxes for our customers.
Stacy's dad was an insurance salesman. He thinks we're absolutely bonkers.
Yeah.
We have enough land to put 6 acres into cultivation with 3 of those acres in cover crops. We're still developing this long-term lease right now as we speak. We're looking to buy the leasehold from the land trust. And then 40 years from now, if our kids don't want to farm, we could transfer that for that same value plus equity that we have built on the property. So that allows us to feel comfortable, putting $1,000 into an acre of land to make it grow, to make the soil healthy. It allows us to feel comfortable putting a building on the property. Ownership is a spectrum, and I think that we started out really wanting to own a piece of land and call it our own. But for us, it just seemed like, well, we don't need to have title to that land. If we have title for the use of that land, that's just as good.
We have a CSA with 100 shareholders. It's pretty light in the beginning, a lot of greens, and then the berries come, and then tomatoes and potatoes, winter squash. In theory, the idea is that the community is in it with you, and sort of you're all in it together, and if it's a great season, then it's an abundance. If it's not a great season, then they take that risk with you. And this is the first year that really puts that to the test. The piece that's challenging about the CSA is that it requires you to be incredibly diverse in what you're growing in the field, whether it's succession planting of lettuce every week, or remembering to put beans in 2 or 3 times so you can have a couple flushes, and keeping up with it all can be a challenge. Being good at growing all of those things can be hard.
I think that all of this publicity and media surrounding the local food movement is, of course, is positive, but it's still fairly academic in some way. There's all this buzz about it, but I think it's still really in its infancy. It's still really hard for people to get their mind around what it means to be a local eater. There could be 10 more farms just in our town doing the same thing.
We have to marry convenience with local. I think there's a lot more consumers out there that would like to be eating local, but we got to do it in a way that's easy for them. It can't be as hard as it is right now forever, because we're going to lose customers. I mean, we already see that now. The return for CSA customers, we either lose them to their own garden, which is our favorite way to lose customers, or it's not convenient enough. You have to be really dedicated and have time.
As a consumer.
Yeah, and so I think there's a lot more consumers out there that would like to be eating local. It's just that they don't have time.
Shortening the gap that still exists between consumers and producers.
I'm definitely encouraged by the future of farming, particularly in Maine. I think Maine is inviting and supportive of new farmers that come into the fold. You could pick up the phone and call someone and ask them a question, and they would be more than willing to share information with you. I have had the experience so often where someone will say, I would love to do what you're doing, but, and the but usually includes something about, a paycheck and health insurance and some large things that they've accumulated that they need to pay for: house, car, education. I'm sure that there will be people in that mix that end up deciding that they want to farm, and that's really reassuring to us. For young farmers, it's about helping them figure out a way that they can let go of the fear of running a business and stepping out on a limb. It's more than just growing food or growing fiber. You also have to figure out, how do you help them figure out how to grow a business?